Middle Tennessee news, a teen is in police custody. MTSU gets its own combine and your latest news in sports. All those stories plus your latest weather, Middle Tennessee news starts right now. Thank you for joining us this evening. I'm Megan Cole and welcome to Middle Tennessee News. A teenager broke into a home, fired 3 shots, and fled through the same window he came in on Sunday morning in Murfreesboro. Murfreesboro police say that the teen climbed in through a window around 4 a.m. and on the 2000 block of Olympia Place early Sunday morning. The resident of the home says he heard a loud noise, and when he checked it to see what it was, he saw the juvenile standing outside of his bedroom. Police later found the teen riding a bicycle near South Rutherford and Broad Street. He's in custody and no one was injured in this incident. Well, Wartrace held their monthly town alderman meeting last week. They discussed a variety of issues such as approving the town to be a stopping point for bicyclists as they travel from Nashville to Chattanooga. The bikers use the 2 greenways and some will even stay the night in tents at a local park in downtown Wartrace. Wartrace Mayor Vicki Smith believes that it will bring some notoriety to the town and could even help local businesses. Other items on the agenda were discussed as well.
The financial report, February 2019, administration report, Parks and Recreation Committee, Planning Commission, Public Safety, that he's building his duplex.
Agenda item was approved by a unanimous vote. The next alderman meeting is scheduled for April 22nd. Well, New York state lawmakers will impose a statewide ban on most types of single-use plastic bags from retail sales. It's the second statewide ban after California. But as Middle Tennessee News reporter Kyla Briggs tells us, don't expect a bag ban in Tennessee just yet.
Placing a ban on plastic bags seems a little unjust to Tennessee and some other states. The initial idea of banning plastic bags comes from them being hard to recycle and causing pollution in empty, grassy areas in places like behind this Arby's and also Chick-fil-A. According to the Associated Press, Tennessee has made a proposal to make banning plastic bags illegal because it could possibly hurt businesses and decrease sales by making it harder for shoppers to travel with their items. Tennessee is one of the last few states moving to make banning plastic bags illegal, but Kroger has already taken steps to help reduce the use of plastic bags.
Kroger will be going bagless by 2025 in an effort to save the planet.
However, the ban of plastic bags may not happen.
Throughout the month, we will have days of the week where we will give out free reusable bags for Kroger, but each customer will only get one.
Tennessee's Governor Bill Lee has intentions of signing the bill that will prevent regulation of plastic bags.
Thanks, Kyla. New York State ban on bags should go into effect next March. Following the introduction of the new Rockvale High and Rocky Fort Elementary schools, the Rutherford County Board of Education approves the new school zone districts. The opening of these schools for the 2019 and 2020 academic year will impact several existing high and elementary schools. The elementary schools impacted will be Sturrittsboro, Smyrna Primary, and other schools related to that. While the new schools are expected to relieve overcrowding in several district schools, the school board has received some resistance from parents of students that are already enrolled in existing schools. Following these complaints, the board agreed to let seniors and Blackman Collegiate Academy students stay at their current schools. And every year, the NFL hosts its annual scouting combine to test some of the world's best athletes' physical abilities. MTSU held its own combine so students can see how they match up to the professionals, but mainly to have fun. Middle Tennessee News reporter Eric Woolworth tells us how this is one way that the rec is helping students to get active.
At least 30 students attended MTSU's first ever mock combine. The rec center hosted this event as a creative way for students to work out.
The Rec Center is trying to provide more alternative activities for students, and I said, hey, why don't you do a combine? So this is kind of an adaptation of the NFL Combine.
The combine tested many different skills such as speed, agility, strength, and even coordination.
While professional athletes make these drills seem pretty simple, they're a little bit more difficult for people like you and me.
While this is the first ever edition, students appreciated a little variety from their usual workout.
I would say it's an amazing experience. I enjoy it a lot because it's something different. I'm used to working out, just monotonous workouts 5 times a week, and this is something different.
And it was a way for students from different walks of life to meet and even make new friends.
No, I just want to say that I enjoy the company, making new friends, especially at a university level. It's really hard to make friends, so that's a good way to do it.
Event coordinator Lexi Janego was happy with this year's turnout and success and hopes to see it grow in the future.
Sure, I mean, this is just a really fun event, a good way for students to get involved in something, whether they are familiar with an event like this or not, but it's a good way to combine together, collaborate across campus, and just get people excited about fitness.
Reporting for Middle Tennessee News, I'm Eric Woolworth.
Thanks, Eric. The Rec Center plans to host this event next year, along with a strength competition in the fall. Well, it's allergy season and a lot of things are in the air, pollen, and people are just raving about their allergies right now. I know me especially, I've been having to take some medicine for it. So I'm looking forward to some warmer weather, and Jonathan Sasser is going to join us in our weather center with a look.
Thanks, Megan. So yeah, today was a really nice day with some warm air and that sun that's just been staying out for quite a while now. With low winds, and that makes for a pretty good and relaxing day. It will continue like that later in the week, but for now, let's just stay on today with a high that had reached about 70 degrees, and it will continue to stay warm into the night, not reaching barely below 50, and it will keep like that for the rest of the week, but that'll be later. Back to you, Megan.
Thanks, Jonathan. Still ahead on Middle Tennessee News, we'll see how hundreds of people were coming to Tennessee for Studio M. That's coming up next on MT10 News. You're fine.
Sculpting the perfect body takes time. Quitting smoking does too. But with a little help, you can do it. Get the resources and support you need to quit smoking from the American Cancer Society at cancer.org/smokeout.
Hannah is bright, talented, and she's been so brave. Hannah complained of a headache. It was a rhabdomyosarcoma. Within a few days, Hannah was in treatment because we were told that the tumor was very aggressive. So we've essentially put our lives in South Africa on hold. Incredibly blessed to be here. St. Jude is an asset to the world. The research that is developed here is offered freely to the rest of the medical world. The entire way that the place operates is just to give and to care. I think it's the kind of place that not only stands as a beacon for pediatric cancer, but I think it could teach the world a couple of lessons about how to treat people. And I think if those lessons could be learned, even in their most basic form, this world could be a better place.
Repeat after me. Apple, table, penny.
Apple, bread.
I remember watching Dad with the kids and thinking, geez, in 6 years, will he even know who they are?
Ask me again.
1 in 10 Americans over 65 has Alzheimer's disease. Learn more today at brightfocus.org.
What does it look like when a life is truly changed?
I feel a sense of accomplishment because I built a house. This house has brought us financial independence.
Every family dreams to have their own house. This house changed our lives.
Habitat for Humanity is at work in your community and around the world. Through shelter, we empower.
Welcome back to Middle Tennessee News. It's estimated that about 100 people come to Middle Tennessee every day. They come for well-paying jobs and the exciting culture. But one aspect of our housing legislation may actually be keeping people from moving here. Studio M reporter Joseph Choi tells us about a push for new laws to change that.
Homestead exemptions. They protect a certain amount of value of a home from property taxes and creditors in the case of bankruptcy or death. They're designed to protect against the forced sale of property and can be very attractive to prospective homeowners. Nearly all states have them, but Tennessee's current exemption may not be all that enticing.
They can take everything that you have, including your home, and you only have $7,500. For someone who has severe issues and everything they own is in their home, and what they don't have pledged at that point, they'll need to start over again.
Tennessee's homestead exemption was first established in 1852 at $500. It was last raised in 1980 to a maximum of $7,500. Tennessee residents are limited to state exemptions, and there have been concerns that they have not kept up with inflation rates.
We're trying to raise that to $1 million limitation, because if somebody's got a family farm, $7,500 won't even come to light bill.
$1 million is a lot to exempt from paying taxes on, but states such as Florida and Texas have an unlimited homestead exemption. With property values continuing to rise and new residents coming in every day, the current legislation may need updating in the near future. For Studio M, I'm Joseph Choi.
Now, Tennessee's current homestead law ranks among the lowest afforded to residents, limited to only state exemptions. There have been numerous attempts in the past to change this, but progress has been slow to start. With large corporations like Amazon attracting new workers, legislators are hoping to update and improve the housing infrastructure to accommodate Tennessee's growing population. The Centers for Disease Control and Prevention says that the number of measles cases in 2019 are already the second greatest number of cases reported in the U.S. since the disease was eliminated in 2000. Measles is highly contagious. A total of 387 individual cases have been confirmed in 15 states since the beginning of the year. Typical measles symptoms include high fever, rash, stuffy nose, and red eyes. The CDC says symptoms usually disappear without treatment within 2 to 3 weeks. A severe case of measles can lead to death. And a large crowd gathered on the streets of South Los Angeles Monday night for a memorial to rapper Nipsey Hussle. At one point, there was a mass panic and chaos in the area, with about 300 people running from the location at once. It's unclear what caused the stampede, and several people were injured, including at least one police officer. It happened as fans mourned the rapper, who have become a beloved community activist. Rain Beenan reports.
Los Angeles police have named a suspect in the killing of rapper and community activist Nipsey Hussle. Police identifying the suspect as 29-year-old Eric Holder. Holder identified just hours after chaos erupted at a memorial for the rapper. Police responding in riot gear. Authorities say many of the injuries occurred as people were trampled trying to flee. Nipsey Hussle, whose real name is Ermias Ascadome, was killed Sunday in a Los Angeles shooting outside a clothing store he owned. His death, a seismic shock to the community, setting off a massive wave of grief.
He cared about us. I care about him. You don't understand what he meant to us.
The Grammy-nominated rapper's fans united in mourning for the man who had been revered for his dedication to his community.
Nipsey Hussle is someone who's a champion of peace. He called for peace. He called for justice. He was a champion to the underserved. He was a role model to our youth.
Just hours after Nipsey Hussle was gunned down, LA's police commissioner announced he had been scheduled to meet Monday with the rapper to discuss ways to help kids and help stop gang violence. The city's police chief scheduling a news conference for Tuesday to discuss the investigation into the rapper's killing and address the surge in violence in the city. I'm Reed Binion reporting.
Still ahead on Middle Tennessee News, we'll take a look at your weekly forecast as well as sports updates. That's Middle Tennessee News. Stay with us.
Turn off your lights for Earth Hour. For our forests, our rivers, our oceans, our wildlife, and for our climate. For our Earth. Earth Hour, March 30th, 2019.
Your zip code. Just one number different, and you might have a whole other life. Different school, different job, different dreams, different problems. In America, the zip code you're born in can determine your future. The Y works to change that, with programs and services that help everyone thrive, no matter who you are or where you're from. For a better us, support your local Y today.
Breast cancer kills more than 41,000 people each year in the U.S. alone. That's unacceptable. That's why by 2026, Susan G. Komen will cut the number of breast cancer deaths in half. We'll get there by helping those who can't pay for treatments, by funding breakthroughs in research that save lives, by ensuring that all people receive the care they need. We'll get there, but only with your help. So, are you in?
My mother used to say a long time ago, whenever there would be any catastrophe that was on the air, she would say, always look for the helpers. Because if you look for the helpers, you'll know that there's hope.
We had beautiful weather this past weekend, but today got a little bit colder. I'm wondering what's happening. So Jonathan Sasser is going to join us in the Weather Center. Jonathan, what are we going to see for the rest of the week?
Thanks, Megan. So, yeah, again, today it was sunny outside, though it was a little chilly in the morning since we were coming off from the 36 degrees that was last night. However, the high reached 63 today, and the humidity was at 35% with slow winds at 5 miles per hour. It's going to stay a bit warm as we go into tonight with still clear skies with a low of 37 degrees and a humidity of 35% and winds staying at 5 miles per hour. Now let's look at the 5-day forecast. Along with today being sunny, we'll also have Wednesday being sunny, with Thursday having PM showers. With Wednesday, the high will be 71 and a low 47. Thursday, 66 and a low of 54. Friday will continue the showers with a high of 74 and a low of 53. And Saturday, there will actually be scattered thunderstorms with a high of 77 and a low of 59. So it'll be a bit of a wet weekend this weekend. Be careful while you're driving. Make sure to put a bunch of extra space between you and the cars ahead of you. And just stay safe out there. Though it'll be warm, it won't be great conditions for staying outside once it comes to Thursday nights. Anyway, back to you, Megan.
Thanks, Jonathan. And still ahead, we're going to take a look at MT baseball and see how the Lady Raiders softball team is doing. That's coming up next on Middle Tennessee News.
Turn off your lights for Earth Hour. For our forests, our rivers, our oceans, our wildlife, and for our climate. For our Earth. Earth Hour, March 30th, 2019.
Your zip code. Just one number different, and you might have a whole other life. Different school, different job, different dreams, different problems. In America, the zip code you're born in can determine your future. The Y works to change that, with programs and services that help everyone thrive, no matter who you are or where you're from. For a better us, support your local Y today.
Breast cancer kills more than 41,000 people each year in the U.S. alone. That's unacceptable. That's why by 2026, Susan G. Komen will cut the number of breast cancer deaths in half. We'll get there by helping those who can't pay for treatments, by funding breakthroughs in research that save lives, by ensuring that all people receive the care they need. We'll get there, but only with your help. So, are you in?
My mother used to say, a long time ago, whenever there would be any catastrophe that was on the air, she would say, always look for the helpers. Because if you look for the helpers, you'll know that there's hope.
You know, after taking a look at what's coming up in the weather for the rest of the week, it looks like it's going to be a beautiful week for everything in sports. And I hear that our Lady Raiders softball team is doing pretty well. And Nathan Vaughn is going to join us in the MT Sports Den. Nathan, how are they doing?
They're doing pretty well, Megan. On the other side of it, however, the MT baseball team, they're kind of struggling a little bit. We'll get right into what I mean by that. They actually had a 3-game series versus Marshall over the weekend up in West Virginia. It's a pretty big one. That's a Conference USA matchup. Game 1 went sour for the Blue Raiders, unfortunately. The Herd winning 13-3 despite Drew Huff's early 2-run homer. Game 2, however, that's all MT. Miles Christian, a highlight 3-run shot in the 4th. MT played its 7 in the inning to catapult them to the win 10-5. But in the rubber match on Sunday, that one ended with the Herd shutting out the Blue Raiders. Zach Keenan with a bad day on the mound, while the MT offense was kept quiet through all 9 innings. Final score of that one, 7-0 Thundering Herd. MT now drops to 9-18 on the year and 4-5 in CUSA play. But let's get into that softball team. They're doing pretty well. They were also away from home over the weekend. The team had a 3-game series versus Charlotte, starting with a doubleheader on Saturday. Lexi Cushing came up clutch in extra innings. Her double got Cameron McHenry home to take a 6-5 lead in the 11th. That would turn out to be the winning run in Game 1. Game 2, unfortunately, all 49ers. Charlotte started up 4-0 in the first and never looked back. Niners pitching cooling off the hot Blue Raiders to knot the series at 1-1. Game 3 on Sunday, a big rubber match for both sides. Raiders knocking in 4 runs in the top of the 2nd and then 3 in the top of the 6th. That's enough to keep the Niners at bay. MT takes the final game 7-4. Lady Raiders are now 6-3 in Conference USA play. Well, taking it from the diamond to the hard courts of tennis, it was senior day for 3 Middle Tennessee State University men's tennis players. Gonzalo Morel, Luis Murillo Diaz, and Jacob Pugh all had their final regular season matches with the team on Saturday. A big conference match versus UAB and then a follow-up match versus Alabama State later in the afternoon was on the docket. MT picking up both matches in dominant fashion, 6-1 against UAB and 4-0 versus Bama State. It's now a 5-match winning streak for the Raiders heading into a big conference pod over the weekend. The race for seeding in the CUSA tournament happening here in the borough is most definitely on. Now on the other side, the Lady Raider tennis team, they had 2 important matches away from home at ETSU and at UAB over the weekend. The Bucks up on Friday. First, the Blue Raiders pick up a big 4-2 win in Johnson City. Marta Perez with a resounding 6-0 third set win to seal that one for Middle Tennessee. And then on Sunday, a big conference meeting versus the UAB Blazers. The hot 4-0 for MTSU. First time this is since early February that the Lady Raiders tennis team has won 2 matches in a row. Now an Ohio road trip is up this weekend for them. They have matches at Cincinnati on Friday and against Xavier on Saturday, so a big is coming up for them. Nick McDevitt, how about basketball? Let's talk a little bit about that. Another baller coming to the Murphy Center next year. Tyler Millen, a 6'7" wing from Alabama, committed to Middle Tennessee State last night. Millen had offers from UIC and Hofstra, but chose MT after receiving an offer 3 days ago. Millen joins Tyson Jackson, J.V. Milner, and Eli Lawrence in the 2019 class for the Blue Raiders. On the other side, in Nashville, after taking his team to a conference tournament final, an at-large appearance in the NCAA tournament, and the program's first tournament win, Belmont's Rick Byrd has announced he will retire. Byrd was the coach of the Bruins since 1986 and finishes with 805 wins in his career. Belmont made 8 tournament appearances in his time as coach with the program, getting its first win this year versus Temple. So we wish Rick Byrd all the best over at Belmont. Well, that takes care of sports for us. I'm going to hand it right back over to Megan. Megan.
Thanks, Nathan. Students at the Kindergarten Center met with a furry friend with some safety tips. Last Thursday, the Kindergarten Center welcomed Bergen County Sheriff's Office Canine Unit, who gave a talk to the kindergartners. This talk was a partnership between the Bergen County Sheriff's Department and the Rutherford County Police Department. The students got to meet Officer Sansferde, Officer Doyle, and their canine pup, Sanny, along with the meeting the dog with a job. The students learned dog safety tips on meeting strange dogs. And thank you for joining us for Middle Tennessee News. I'm Megan Cole, and if you missed any of our shows this week, you can watch them on our website, middletennesseenews.net. We'll see you tomorrow.